representing the good people of the 5th Congressional District here in the Badger State of Wisconsin. Congresswoman Gwen Moore is on the line. Congresswoman, how are you?
Doing great. This is the 4th Congressional District in Wisconsin. How you doing today?
I'm already messing up, Gwen.
No, you're not. Representation has no boundaries.
You know what it was? When Barrett was in Congress and I worked for Tom, then it was the 5th. I just dated myself. Anyway, Congresswoman, we got 61 days until the election. What happens now in the home stretch? We got 2 months left. What should voters expect? What should the American people expect in the next 2 months?
You know, let me just say this. I think that we have to really continue to be hopeful. And I think people have to overcome the sense that there's nothing that they can't do. I think people get intimidated when they hear things like, well, Elon Musk is going to put $45 million a month into the campaign. That just seems daunting to us. But you stop and think about it. You know, if 9 million of us put in $5 a month, we can equal that. And if we don't have $5 a month to do that, we can certainly, if you live in an apartment building, you can get some literature from, 84th and Lisbon or whatever, and go and just say, hey, neighbor, I just wanted to make sure you got this information. People like to be touched. They like to be asked. You can just slip a reminder under the door right on your block. There's something everybody can do. You can make sure that your mother-in-law in the nursing home is going to be able to register to vote. Everybody can do something. I think Michelle Obama was the one who said, do something.
Speaking with Congresswoman Gwen Moore of the 4th Congressional District, can we talk about the importance of the other races, Congresswoman, that are going to be on the ballot? Of course, a lot of attention is on the top of the ticket, which is Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance. But if there is not support for down ballot races, Democrats being elected and getting the majority in the House of Representatives, in which you serve, Tammy Baldwin getting reelected to the U.S. Senate, then that may diminish the opportunity for Kamala Harris to be successful. So can we talk a minute about other races that people may not be paying as much attention to?
Totally. Thanks for raising that. I am in the minority, and it has been miserable just watching the deconstruction of our democracy as a member of Congress. And we literally are only 2 members away from regaining the majority. Now, fortunately, the Republicans have been such bumbling fools that we've essentially been able to do some ruling from the minority. But in order to take over the majority and to get those gavels, we need 2 seats. And indeed, we've got 2 seats right here in Wisconsin that are gettable. I was at an event last night for Rebecca Cook, who's an amazing candidate to defeat Derek Van Orden, who just has been an embarrassment in Congress. I mean, he's a crazy, getting drunk, cussing out the interns, running over to Israel, showboating. He's an insurrectionist. I mean, he was in D.C. on January 6th, that fateful day. He has a wrong temperament. And we have a candidate who was on the Wisconsin Economic Development Board, appointed by Evers. She grew up on a farm. She is really the greatest representation for that district. And then in the 1st Congressional District, that'd be Racine, Beloit, Kenosha, that area. Has a lot. Peter Barca, who was the Secretary of the Department of Revenue under Evers, but also held that seat as a member of Congress before it was taken over by Republicans. That is a winnable seat, beating Brian Stiles. And so we could literally, right here in this state, we could capture the 2 seats that we need. And of course, Tammy Baldwin is an exceptional senator. Out of all of the 100 senators, she is exceptional. She is a, get the shit done type of senator. Not the loudest person, but very, very effective. And I mean, she could be the top of the ticket. I mean, she could, we could find our presidential nominee catching on to the coattails of Tammy Baldwin, because I think she is wildly popular all throughout the state. So, but we need Tammy Baldwin because we need to retain the Senate, and we need to keep the majority in the Senate, or at a minimum, keep that majority. If we find ourselves in the minority because we've got a tough map, we at least need to prevent Republicans from having, enough members so that they can. We need to have enough Democratic members so that we can continue to keep things from coming to the floor. We can be an effective minority.
Congresswoman Moore, in these next 61 days, Americans should expect to hear election denialism. For some reason, the Republicans have not let it go. It has been litigated more times than either of us can count. Even Trump-appointed judges have said the election was won, it was fair, it was square, there was no fraud to speak of. But they're doubling down on this election denialism, and I'm concerned about it because they're so firm and they're denying the authenticity of this election. So how do we respond to that? Because they're not going to stop denying the election.
Oh, no, they're not, because their only path to winning is through the Electoral College. They haven't won the popular vote, and I don't know when, because there are just more people who that believe in the values and the programs of Democrats. I mean, like reproductive freedom, for example, fair taxation. You provide tax relief to people, middle class people, and to small businesses, not to large corporations. That most people agree with the Democratic agenda. So their only path is through the Electoral College and cheating, gerrymandering, stealing the vote, claim. So what we have got to do is we've got to win overwhelmingly. We shouldn't just have the 20,000 votes that we had last time. We need to blow Trump out of the water to demonstrate, that you can't say that there was any hanky-panky. We need to win, keep the blue wall together. We need to win, Pennsylvania and Michigan. Now, there's nothing that we personally can do unless we're going to donate to the Senate campaign. But right here, we need to make sure that we maximize the vote so that there's no question that Wisconsin was won.
You're on the ballot too, Congresswoman. You're up for re-election.
Hey, vote for me, and while y'all at it, vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Tammy Baldwin and Peter Barker in racing. He's a fantastic guy who has worked hard and long in his career for economic development of that area. And, there's lots of brothers and sisters and Latinos and people in Racine who are locked into the dearth of opportunity because the way the Republicans have walked away from giving opportunities to our workers in that area. We need Peter Barker, who spent 40 years focusing on those issues.
Congresswoman Gwen Moore, we got 61 days. There are people, they're anxious. They want this election to come and go, and I don't blame them. For folks that want to do something, as Michelle Obama says, in the next 61 days, what can just the average, regular old American do in the next 61 days if they want to help Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and a whole list of down-ballot Democrats become successful?
Go up to 84th and Lisbon to our office and get yourself a yard sign. That's the most passive thing that you can do. People advertising is important. Get yourself a T-shirt and be a walking billboard. And like I said, you're getting the text. Send $5. $5 is a lot of money. If there are 9 million of you sending $5, send $5. That when Kamala Harris's candidacy was announced, she immediately raised a whole lot of money, and it wasn't from Elon Musk. It was from people sending in $5. Go for it. Do it. Do something. You can volunteer with the Democratic Party of Wisconsin to take some of those shifts. If you're in good health or you feel like walking, it's nice out. You can join the company of other people and do a block. Do that. You can make phone calls. You can donate. You can put a yard. You can do something.
Do something. Congresswoman Gwen Moore, always a pleasure to speak to you, and we're going to get out there and do something. We're going to get a T-shirt and a yard sign. We're going to give $5. I might even give 10. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll see you very soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, all right then. Okay, bye-bye.
Period.
Okay. All right. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after